why wasn't the Iranian government straightforward earlier about what happened? Why did it take 3 days?
I'm not going to, let's say, just to justify why it was so late, but just take the situation like this, that even if our government wanted not to confess that this was a mistake, we would have not even told it on Friday, even after 48 hours. There was not at all any intention to hide this, because after all, there was an investigation. There was the investigation in studying the information in the black box. So then at the end, the result could have been finalized and concluded. We took the responsibility, and we take also the responsibility of compensating every aspect of this. And as mentioned in the communique or the statement of our armed forces, unfortunately, this happened in time of high tension, high sensitivity. And even still, we do not know what kind of condition led to this mistake to happen in this time of crisis. We are hearing different and conflicting news that even there could be a possible electronic war over the Iranian sky, that possibly those who was just behind the missile equipment, he received the information, as we have received it from the military official, that a cruise missile is approaching our capital. So we need to
some kind of electronic sabotage. Is that it?
There are some argument, not even in the Western media. Just today we heard some information from the Russian Foreign Minister, Mr. Lavrov, that he said at the time of that incident happened at that night, there were 6 US F-35 flying around Iran.
But if there is a real possibility of sabotage, why did Iran apologize?
No, I am not saying that, because I don't have even the information. I just tell you that there are conflicting news about all the issues surrounding this. But at least if there could be, if any, a sabotage, an electronic sabotage, but that incident happened. And maybe that was the last chain of the issues that finally resulted in shooting that missile, or those 2 missiles.
Well, after the admission of human error by the Iranian authorities, people took to the streets and used social media to express anger against the government. Protesters were beaten. There are videos showing gunshots, tear gas. Is it acceptable to use real bullets on Iranian civilians?
Let me first reiterate that based on the information I have, there hasn't been any kind of real bullet shot on the. Maybe plastic bullets could have been. I mean, the disciplinary forces, the police, may have used it, or tear gas or something like that. The country is in a danger of possible war, threatening by foreign country. Then how comes that then there would be along some protesters to go burn the banks, do this? So this is the responsibility of any country in the world, that if there are this kind of chaotic situation, try to calm the situation. But I can confirm that there hasn't been any real bullet to be used.
But why isn't there a death toll, an official death toll?
The death toll, which is a combination of different people, even the protesters, the security forces, and some of those people who are passing just in the streets, and they have not been part of this protest. So the fact is that it still is being calculated. I mean, there are rumors that they say
there are so
thousands.
Many that you're still calculating?
Sorry?
Are there so many that you're still
the information I have is that the security forces, the security force, but then we faced with different rounds of problems happened after this assassination, and maybe then they didn't allow this kind of incident happen, didn't allow that report to be finalized possibly. But the information I saw on some official sources is that we will we will reveal the real number of the dead and the composition of the numbers. That is, there are rumors, but those claims is not.
So there will be an official
but there
figure.
would be, yeah, there would be. The crackdown of the protest was because it was mounting towards the destabilizing the security of the country. I mean, tens of banks were put in burning, gas stations.
A small
and this.
group of people, as you say it, were jeopardizing the national security.
That is the problem, is that in such a circumstances, opportunist people who are not a big number, they make a kind of insurgent into the gatherings, the calm gatherings of the people.
Some of them have also criticized the use of state funds to finance international affairs, such as the war in Syria, the conflicts in Yemen, or the support given to groups like Hamas and Hezbollah. Does this mean that the people, or some of the people, do not agree with the strategy of gaining influence and control in neighboring countries, of which General Soleimani was one of the main architects?
We are not providing any financial resources to, let's say, Yemenis or Hamas or others. We just support their cause spiritually, let's say. But when it comes to the neighboring countries like Iraq and Syria, actually, what is the main purpose of our military advisors being there in Iraq or defending the sovereignty of those countries against ISIS, against the most dangerous terrorist groups, let's say, in the world? All of us may not forget that few years ago, nobody could feel safe in Iraq or in Syria, where the capital cities were also in danger of being fall in the hand of the ISIS. And it was Major General Soleimani who saved Mosul, who saved Arbil, who saved, let's say, Baghdad from the attack of these terrorist groups. So we were there at the request of the established government there.
The supreme leader said the nuclear deal was supposed to be a turning point in the relationship between Iran and the international community towards stability and towards peace. But signing the deal didn't stop Iran from
what?
Supporting Shia militias and their actions. And Tehran continues being linked mainly because of that support to incidents like the ships in the Persian Gulf.
No proof to that.
And the Saudi Arabia's pipeline. Isn't it a contradiction between wanting stability and peace and a turning point in the relationship and continuously being linked to these kinds of actions?
Actually, let me say that the nuclear deal was not meant to resolve all the disputes which were prevailing between Iran and the United States since the Islamic Revolution. I may say that it could have resolved possibly 10%.
Only 10%.
Possibly 10% of all the disputes that we have on the table with the United States. Unfortunately, it may have wrongly interpreted, even inside my own country as well, by media, by some officials, that it was supposed to resolve all the problems between Iran and the United States. But it was not the case. Iran has promised and said that it has never and it will never pursue any nuclear weapon. Actually, from the religious point of view, there is a religious order or fatwa by our supreme leader that it's forbidden in Islam, because you cannot have weapons of this kind of mass destruction. But what we promised, we are committed to an international agreement. We are committed to a UN Security Council resolution, and even know that we are reducing our commitments. It's just to give diplomacy a chance.
But can we conclude that there will be no talks with the United States as long as President Trump
Actually,
is president,
as long as
or?
this arrogant behavior is there, I don't believe that Iranians at any level, they would trust the US administration unless there would be a change in US behavior.
Not necessarily a change in the presidency or
It-
the holder of the presidency?
we have no problem with the figures.
Mhm.
We have problem with the behavior. We believe that the behavior, the way that U.S. followed the nuclear deal and put us all in such a chaotic situation, it's because of his arrogant behavior. They need to change their mind. They need to respect the dignity of a country which is pursuing for its independence. They need to realize that Iran is no longer a puppet of the United States in Middle East. They are hiding casualties. They are hiding the damages made today. So it's up to them to hide. But the message is taken well, is very well taken by them.
You believe there were more casualties than have been reported?
Casualties at all.
There could be, and I know even today I saw on some
11
papers
wounded, yes.
at least 11. But
Yes.
CNN
Wounded.
report shows that there could be more casualties. The report that CNN had from that air bases, they claimed, the CNN claims that. But even Iran didn't want to kill soldiers. We didn't want to make human casualties. We just wanted to show them that we have the power to respond and retaliate, and we did it. But everything from now, it depends on the U.S. behavior.